You're speaking this morning, the sermon apexed on the purpose of the church really being evangelism. I think it might interest the folks to know how you came to know Christ, your conversion story.
Well, obviously, I was raised in a pastor's home. I went to church every Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. I loved it. I loved the church. I loved to be at the church. I loved the basement where we played games and ate cookies and read punch. But I grew up loving the church. I did. And at some point, my love for my parents, my love for the church developed and matured into a love for Christ. And I don't know the exact moment that happened. I can't really nail that down. I can honestly say I don't know a time when I didn't believe. I don't know a time when I rejected the gospel. I never went through a period of rebelling against it by the grace of God, and I'm deeply thankful for that. I've often thought to myself, if with the profile I have now, if there had been a past in my life that could be exposed, it surely would have been by those who would want to expose it, and God protected me from that. I don't think I would never find any pride in a life of sin or rebellion, and I'm just grateful that God spared me all of that. I remember kneeling down with my dad one time on the steps of a church where he was preaching, and he took me with him on a meeting, and I got into some mischief with some other boys, and I was feeling so guilty because I was the visiting evangelist's son, and but they led me into it. But I felt so guilty about that I remember talking to my dad about wanting to be sure I was really saved, and we prayed together there. And then, of course, later on in my life, after my freshman year in college, most of you know, I had a pretty serious automobile accident. I was thrown out of a car going about 70 miles an hour and slid down the highway over 100 yards on my backside. And that was very traumatic. I don't know that was my salvation. I believe I was saved prior to that. But that was a serious wake-up call about the fact that I was not in control of my life. I could live or die in an instant. And I remember that event and the subsequent several months when I was lying on my stomach while all of that tried to heal, saying to the Lord, I don't want to fight you. Whatever it is you want out of my life, that's what I want for my life. And so that was a time of real turning away from any personal ambition that I might have had and just saying, Lord, whatever you want me to do, that's really what I want to do.